Hi, Josiah here. So I saw a video the other day on LT's channel. Her name's L, last initial T. I don't know if that stands for something or if she's perhaps related to Mr. T. She could be one of the New Hampshire T's. I suspect it's probably the initial for her last name, but she's also known as Sparrow or X Sparrow. She is a woman of many names. But there will be a link to her channel down below in the description, and that's where I saw her video about a message to my younger self. And I'd been wanting to do some vlogs of a personal nature, and I hadn't yet done so. I was putting it off. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it. And this idea immediately struck me as something that I liked very much and wanted to do. The premise, of course, and she apparently got this from another YouTuber by the name of Scott Gandhi, who I don't believe is of any relation to Mahatma Gandhi or any other Gandhis in India. I suspect that, in fact, might be a pseudonym, but I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to judge. I don't really know the man's life story. But what I do know is this. I liked the idea. Apparently it was his idea, and then it was her idea, and now it's my idea, third hand. It's a hand-me-down idea. But I shall endeavor to do it justice nonetheless. As I often do with things, I kind of went overboard, took it too far. I can't just simply write a simple, quick letter to my younger self that takes 15 minutes and be done with it. No. Once I got my hooks into the idea, I decided that I wanted it to be much more extensive. I'm very long-winded, especially when I write. Anyone who knows me well is well aware of that. I was supposed to write a 5 to 10 minute speech to deliver at a rally not long ago, and instead I wrote and delivered a 40-minute speech, and that was me trying not to make it too long. So what I decided to do, instead of just a simple letter to my younger self in general, I am writing separate letters to several different younger selves at different ages throughout my life. And when I started really thinking of this idea, I really got into it, and I really started thinking of these various younger versions of me at different points in my life and who they were and what their personality was like and what they were going through. And I really started thinking of them as actual people that I was actually going to write letters to. And I remember all of the things that they were confused about and the really terrible decisions they made. So most of my letters to my younger selves are going to be me trying to convince younger versions of myself not to do the terrible, stupid things that they did, that I did. So that's mostly what it's going to be about. But and as I started writing these, I went overboard. I mean, I just kept writing, and all this stuff started coming out. And there's a lot of things that I've never talked about, that I've never shared with anyone, that I've never written about, at least not anything that I wrote and then shared with anybody. And so all this stuff started coming out from my past, and all this personal stuff inside me that I have wanted to talk about and wanted to share and wanted to write about for a long time, and I haven't. And now all of a sudden it's all coming out, and some of it's very, very, very personal, and some of it's very dark and very serious, and some of it might be disturbing, and there's a lot of serious personal disclosure here. So it might be offensive, or it might be disturbing to some people. You might not like it, what I have to say in some of these videos. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend them, to be honest. I would say only watch these if you have a morbid curiosity about me, or you're very, very bored and just find the idea intriguing, or I don't know. But I'm going to write quite a few of these, I think, now, because I've been doing a lot of writing, and so far I've only gotten through me as a 16-year-old, despite all of the writing that I've, because each one has been progressively longer. And so there's a lot of other ages of me that I want to write to now that I'm in the swing of this, and I have a lot to say. So I have a feeling these videos will be lengthy and that there will be quite a few of them. So there you have it. I can't just do things the easy, simple way, can I? Otherwise I would already be done. But so I will go ahead and get started on these here in this video. This is part one, I suppose, of what will now be a brief series Who am I kidding? It won't be that brief. But it'll be a series nonetheless, and this will cover my letter to 9-year-old Josiah and my letter to 11-year-old Josiah. And then my next video will be my letter to 14-year-old Josiah, and the video after that will be my letter to 16-year-old Josiah. And all of those are done at the time I record this, and then I'll be writing more and recording them and uploading them afterwards. But anyway, that's enough introduction here, and I will let the pre-recorded me get on with the show. Thanks. Dear Josiahs of yesteryear, we need to talk, guys. You know how you often ponder how your life's going to turn out when you get older? When you grow up? When you pass the next arbitrary milestone, which is supposed to change things? You know how you fear your future? How you worry about all of the things that could go wrong? All of the ways that you could fail? All of the pain you see in store for yourself? You know how you wonder if it's possible, just barely possible, for you to find yourself, find your truth, find your path, find purpose, belonging, love, joy, and authentic humanity? Well, spoiler alert, it's all pretty fucked. It ain't good, fellas. Things go from shitty to shittier, to surprising new levels of shitty, to being the mayor of Shitropolis, capital of the shittish empire. Rough circumstances and a string of bad hands dealt by the capricious vagaries of chance have their part in your tale of ignominious woe. But mostly, guys, mostly all of this shit is coming out of you. Bad choices on more bad choices, like one of those Russian Matryoshka dolls of self-sabotage. Former Josiahs, together you've done me considerable harm, and I do not thank you for the legacy you've left to your future self. So I'm writing to tell you to stop doing the things that hurt us, and maybe encourage you a bit too. You definitely always needed some of that. Dear 9-year-old Josiah, I'm sorry, little buddy. I know you're in pain, covered in bruises as usual, face streaked with tears, just like it is every day. I wish there was some way I could give you comfort just by sending words back through time, but I know there isn't. Out of all of us, you're the one I have no criticism for. You're the innocent one. All of the shit you're choking on and the torment they put you through isn't your fault. You're weird and different, but there's nothing wrong with you, Josiah. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve any of it. I know you think your parents don't love you, that they hate you, that all of their anger and yelling is because of you. But none of that is true, I promise. I know how scary it is listening to them scream at each other and throw things and hit the walls all the time. But believe me, it's got nothing to do with you. They do love you, in their own dysfunctional way. They're just not really capable of showing it right now. Their anger isn't your fault. They hate each other and themselves. The mean things they say are all coming from that evil white powder they put up their noses, and all those yucky things they drink and smoke. One day, they'll stop poisoning their minds with all those substances, and they'll realize how badly they failed you. One day, after you grow up, you'll finally be able to be a family. For now, though, you gotta be strong and rely on yourself. All I can tell you is to hang in there. Things won't get better for quite a long time, sadly, but they will get better, eventually. Don't give up. I know you want to. It's fucking tragic to remember the fact that even at such a young age, you're thinking about suicide daily. You're praying every night before you go to bed for God to just kill you while you sleep. And when you wake up each morning and realize you're still alive and have to face another day in hell, you start the day crying because you know that there's no escape. But don't give up, Josiah. One day, you're going to be a pretty awesome dude, and no one will victimize you ever again, And people will even love you once in a while. I mean, things are almost always going to be rather shitty, but they'll be a whole lot better than the pit of agonized helplessness you're in now. Life has a few treats to offer you down the line, though. There's some real beauty and wonder out there to be found in the big wide world, and someday you're going to get to experience that. So hang in there, okay? I know it's a bullshit thing to say, but it's basically all you can do right now. You're going to make it through no matter what. My existence here in 2014 proves that. But how much you suffer is up to you. If you can slow down the raging torrent of painful thoughts that rushes perpetually through your mind, and find some peace in the moment, even in the midst of your terrifying circumstances, then you can claim some victory over your oppressors. Don't let them win. One day, you'll learn to laugh in the face of life's hardest punches. Just start learning it a bit earlier, all right? We'll all be glad you did. Dear 11-year-old Josiah, I know you're pissed about having to move across the country to Reno and afraid of what new realms of misery will be discovered there. But man, you just ain't looking at this the right way. This is a fresh start. Or it could be. You could actually escape all of the beatings and torture of your days in Denver just by being someone new here in this new place. You could avoid becoming that target, that victim this time. Just learn to blend in, buddy. Mask a little bit of that super weirdness and put a lampshade on your beacon of crazy. And try to integrate yourself with your peers like a normal kid. You're going to become exceptionally good at this kind of camouflage in a few years anyway. But bro, you could spare yourself an incredible amount of pain and struggle, not to mention the ground from which your most terrible decisions of all time spring, if you can make a serious effort at this now. Stop being an annoying little shit. Seriously. Yeah, you're smarter than everyone else. Everybody already knows, and they're already threatened and irritated by it. You really, really don't need to try to show off how intellectually superior you are to everyone all the time. No, I mean it. Stop that shit. Right the fuck now. Also, life in a society with other people is not just about what you want to do all the time. I don't care if you're not interested in any of the activities or forms of play that your peers engage in. Jump in there and pretend anyway. You creep people out by refusing to participate in anything they consider fun. No wonder you always become the outcast and the victim. And you know those people or beings that you can see but no one else can because they're too dumb or spiritually and not enlightened enough or something? Yeah, about that. Well, I'll save that topic for your older incarnation, but my unequivocal advice is this. Stop talking to them in front of people. I know it can be really confusing, trying to figure out who's real or not real, so maybe try this as a rule of thumb for now until you're able to navigate your psychotic symptoms with some more sophistication. Just don't talk to anyone that you haven't seen other people talking to if you're in public. I know it hurts your feelings that everyone always calls you crazy and laughs at you for being insane when you're sure that you're not. But, you actually kind of are. You won't find this out until a bit later, so I can't blame you. But at least stop displaying it all over the place. Make an effort to make friends. You play the loner role so thoroughly, and you look down upon other kids. So is it any great shocker that they all hate you? You're bringing this shit on yourself, Josiah. A younger you might not have been able to grasp this and alter his social behavior enough to change things, but you certainly could. You cry all the time because nobody likes you, you never have any friends, and you get the shit kicked out of you on the daily by increasingly sadistic bullies who seem to be addicted to tormenting you in particular. But you don't even try to make people like you, to be a friend, to broaden your horizons and share in people's interests, or even to stick up for yourself at all. Moving to Reno to an entirely new set of people with no baggage carried over from old places could be your chance to change your MO and thus your social standing. Don't just keep being the same eccentric, manifestly crazy, standoffish, self-isolative, pedantic, openly judgmental, arrogant, loud-mouthed, inappropriately smart-assed, dismissive, know-it-all little weirdo who is also totally passive, weak, scared, and spineless when challenged. I mean, duh, you're a walking recipe for ostracization and targeting by those who want someone to use as a punching bag. Either shut up or man up, but doing neither is just going to continue to be an ongoing fuck-up. You're shitting all over yourself here, and trust me when I say things are about to get much, much worse if you don't make a course correction now. Do not leave the fate of your future in the hands of 14-year-old Josiah, because he's going to burn this motherfucker to the ground. Learn to socialize and be a decent person now, so that you can hopefully avoid the massive shitstorm that's coming in a few years. You're smart, Josiah. You're gifted. You have huge potential, a much greater talent for communication, and a much deeper understanding of people than you think you do. Even at 11 years old, you have the tools to reinvent your social identity and put an end to the way you've always been treated. Do it. Please. Do it now, before it's too late.